Leroy with WattsTrue. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of our program. I have an example here. This is a restaurant that we recently connected data for, and this utility is PG&E in California. This isn't real-time data. There's a 48-hour lag. So today's the 14th. This is the data for Monday the 12th. But we can see this is a 24-hour period. We can see what they're consuming, in the middle of the night. We can see the how the consumption increases over the course of the day. This is kilowatt hours. We have weather data, so we can see correlations between higher consumption and either hot weather or cold weather. We could look at this data over the course of a week by the hour, and we start to see the daily patterns that are evident in their, as the restaurant operates. And then we can also look at the consumption over the course of a month or even the year. This utility will give us up to 2 years of their historical consumption. And we can see, it gets pretty hot in Fresno and on a day when it gets up into the 90s and the restaurant's pulling 45 kilowatt hours in the middle of the day and even, 16 kilowatt hours per hour at night. And then once we've received the data, this is our modeling tool. This is a solar report. So this customer, if they're considering solar and adding energy storage, we break the consumption down by the season. We average each hour of the day by the season. So in the fall, winter, spring, and summer. And then we can even look at them all together to see how their consumption patterns change. We can see this customer uses most of the energy during the day when the sun's up, so solar is going to be a great solution. We also know their rate tariff, rate schedule, and so we know when the peak period is. That's the dark blue bars here, and we know what the peak consumption is in the summer, fall, winter, and spring, so we can see how it changes. And then in California, you need energy storage because they pay you very little for your grid exports. And we can automatically recommend a storage solution to either cover the on-peak consumption or to maximize grid independence. We have a basic layout tool that allows us to place some solar panels on the roof and see how much production we could get out of that. We can use either the Google solar modeling tool, or there are a couple of solar pieces of software, Aurora, one is Scanify, that we can model. And then we could then show the impact of adding different combinations of solar and storage. That's why we call this a scenario report, and show the customer the potential savings of different solutions. The challenge this restaurant has, you can see we've got quite a few panels on the roof here, and we're only offsetting 21% of their consumption because they use a lot of electricity and for relative to the size of their roof, which is where your solutions come in, because we can figure out how to bring their overall consumption down before actually modeling the solar, and then help them get more benefit from the solar solution. So lots of different ways we can help you acquire this data, understand the customer's situation, and then craft the ideal solution based upon what you see in the data, and then give you something you can review with the customer and help them understand as well. So if I can give additional information to you and your team, we'd be happy to do that on a Zoom. Just give me a holler at Leroy at wattstrue.com. Thank you so much.